from your socials, which I thought was incredible, is between couples or, partners, not asking the why question. Why did he behave like that? I thought it was so profound in terms of the locus of control, the internal locus of control. Go through that because I think that is very, very powerful from a strategic and tactical way to address, this why question that I think can lead us down the wrong path. And then, as you say in your socials, you give power to someone else and you don't keep the power within.
I'm so opposed to the why. And again, I'm a therapist. I've made my career out of understanding the why. So I'm not saying there's not a place for analysis. However, if you're in a dating relationship, the why question is a real big problem, and I'll go into why that is. If you're in a long-term committed relationship, why is also a problem, and I'll unpack that too. So let's start with the dating relationships. If I'm dating someone and they text me or they don't text or whatever, they do a thing I don't like. When I say, "Why didn't you call me?" or "Why did they ignore me?" or "Why did they call 6 times that day?" The why question is me trying to jump into their head and figure out what's going on with them instead of why did they do that. A better question is, how am I responding to that? How do I feel about that? So the shorthand, if we're going with here's your scripts, instead of if you're dating someone, why did they do that? Try saying, I don't really like that they did that. Am I going to tolerate it? What are my choices? And your choices are usually tolerate it and ignore it, even though you don't like it. Go full aggressive into a confrontation. You just shouldn't have done that, and you're crossing my boundary, and all that stuff we see, or get more information. Because in a dating relationship, you don't have enough consistency or time clocked with the relationship to really understand what anything means. So I'm not a texter. And so my husband, fortunately, is also not a texter. But if he was expecting me to text every day and every good morning, good evening, like that wouldn't work for us. Why doesn't she text me? Well, after enough time, he'll learn I'm not a texter. It doesn't mean anything other than I don't like to text people. Like it's just not, I like memes. I like sending memes. I don't like texting. It's just annoying to me. And so, why did they do that? Outsources our power. In academic language, we would say the locus of control is no longer in me. I have put my locus of control externally in them. Why did you do that? Now gives you the power to justify it, to excuse it, to explain it, and to bypass how I feel about it. So, why did they do that? Instead, say, I don't like that they did that. What are my choices? So, that's for the dating world. In a long-term relationship, the why question is so loaded with shame. And I will back up what I just said. My husband now, he knows no why questions in our house. We don't deal in why. Why didn't you take out the trash? That's code for I'm right, you're wrong. You should have done the thing that I wanted and you didn't. And so, shame on you. Well, why did you leave the door open? Why didn't you pick up the kids? The why question sets up the dynamic where the person asking why is right, the person on the receiving end is wrong, and that's going to create defenses. Nothing brings up defenses faster than being asked a why question. If you ask a teenager or a child, why did you do that? They're all going to go, I don't know, right? Because no one likes being asked why questions. Instead, let's just use the trash example. Why didn't you take out the trash? A better thing to say would be, I noticed that the trash didn't get taken out. Would you be willing to take care of that? That is, one, it's more respectful, and two, it's non-accusatory, and it honors the other person's autonomy. Even if your partner takes out the trash regularly, if they didn't, well, they're grown up and they don't have to. So let's, instead of why did you or why didn't you, use I noticed language. So if you're dating, it's not why did they, it's I don't like that they. In an intimate relationship, it's not why did you, it's I noticed that you. Here are my thoughts on it, and here's my request.
Sure,
Much,
that's
much,
tough. And
much
I mean, I'm
better.
just thinking of my kids now, when I want them to clean up the room or, switch off the TV or clean the dinner table and they haven't. I noticed you didn't. And then possibly ask, how would you go? Okay, I noticed you didn't put the dishes in the dishwasher. Could you then you ask again? But if you keep on saying on the third or fourth time, saying, I noticed you didn't put the dishes in the dishwasher, do you want to tell me why? Or how would you carry on that,
Yeah.
the conversation?
And I'm certainly not saying let your kids do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You say the I notice thing and you pair it with a request. Now, if your kid seems like they're off or like they're not their usual self, you could say something like, I noticed that you didn't do the dishes and you seem a little bit down. Is there anything you want to talk about? Much better. If your kid's just being a brat that day, we love children. I love your children, but
Yeah.
kids can be snarky. Sometimes you don't really need a conversation. It's, hey, buddy, I noticed you didn't do the dishes. Would you, or I wouldn't say, would you please, because you don't ask kids, please. I noticed that you didn't do the dishes. It's important that those dishes are done before TV time.
Okay.
So you start, I mean, eventually you might have to get a little bit more aggressive with
Yeah,
your
yeah.
laying down the line, but you can start by noticing a thing, pairing it with a request. I noticed this didn't happen. Can you do the thing? All right, the kid is not doing the thing, and that gets into more parenting strategies.
Sure.
But then you validate the feeling. Oh, buddy, I know you would so much rather watch TV than do the dishes. I totally get you. And dishes first, TV second. No TV time until dish time.